The other trend is that auto stocks look like they want to start off positive. Not sure if that plays out or not. Remember, M&M's SUV sales have been completely scorching once again in September. That's the nifty winner right now in the pre-open session. Next one is Maruti with a gain of about 1%. Though for Maruti, sales have been a little more muted. Since we're on the subject already, let's actually tell you more. The growth was in single digits in the month gone by. In September, it was below some of the estimates, like the Nomura estimates on the street. However, Maruti's half-yearly sales did top 1 million units for the first time ever. We caught up with Shashank Srivastava, Senior Executive Officer, Marketing and Sales at Maruti Suzuki. Listen in to some of the sales trends and the outlook that he shared with us.
This year, and this, by the way, is not only the highest ever September, but the highest ever wholesale in any month in any year in the industry. So by absolute volume terms, I think it's been a great month for the industry, as also for Maruti. Maruti growing at double the rate at which competition is growing. As a result, our market share has gone up in H1 by almost 1.2%, and from the 41% it was, I guess, crossed the 42.3% mark. So in that sense, it's been a good H1 for Maruti. Of course, if only we could see a larger number coming through the entry hatches, then we could probably see a much better growth figure for Maruti Suzuki. I would expect that we should cross the last year's number, which was 259,000 for the full year, which was also, by the way, the highest ever exports of Maruti Suzuki. So that number still looks that we will breach that number for the year.
All right. Let's get into further analysis on that. We have with us Kapil Singh, the head consumer and digital commerce auto equity research at Nomura, joins us on the show. Hi, Kapil. Good morning. Thanks so much for joining in. What do you make of the auto sales numbers, and which was the big beat and the biggest disappointment as well?
Sure. Good morning, and thank you for having me on the show. So for this month, the big beat for us were from TVS and also from Mahindra & Mahindra SUV segment. I think these two companies did surprise us quite a bit. Also, Tata Motors, the MHCV sales were pretty strong, close to 30% growth. And I would say that all of these three surprised us.
Okay. By the way, we're getting Bajaj Auto numbers as well. They're in line, more or less in line with Nomura estimates. Slight dip coming in. Total sales down 1% over the same period last year. That was expected, so it's not really a shocker. Very muted trends. Three-wheelers doing really well for Bajaj Auto. Two-wheelers kind of just moving along. Kapil, let's actually talk two-wheelers because there's so much happening in that market, right? We've seen a lot of key launches at the premium end. And the other then narrative is whether rural will start recovering. Hero's sales were above most of the estimates from what I remember. So within autos, how do you view two-wheelers right now? And which would be your preferred sort of companies or stocks?
Yeah, so within the two-wheeler space, we prefer Bajaj Auto and TVS Motors. I think these are companies which are growing above the industry growth rates for consistently for last few months, and they have come up with new products which have already started to gain traction. So Bajaj with the Triumph and TVS also, if you see, some of the new products have done very well, which has helped them grow ahead of the market. As far as overall industry is concerned, it is still, I would say, more driven by the 125cc and above. We are seeing weakness across the lower end segments, both in two-wheelers and in four-wheelers. So passenger vehicles also, same kind of trends are observed. I would say we should expect some recovery here if the inflation remains under control and the consumers' incomes do catch up over time. But they also reflect an important element of consumer preferences, where consumers in India are willing to pay more for features and better technology, which is positive, I would say, for the industry, because even if the volume growth is in single digits, the revenue growth can be in double digits for most of these companies.
Okay. Kapil, hi, good morning. Bajaj numbers, as Surabhi was saying, are just coming through. And one thing which stands out is, so TVS export growth was strong. I think there was some 6-7% growth, or maybe even more than that, but it was better. In the case of Bajaj, exports are down 1%. So that's just coming through on Bajaj. And you said you like amongst two-wheelers, you like Bajaj. Any thoughts on the exports part?
I don't have the exact numbers, but I believe they will not be too different from what we were expecting. So look, the export recovery is going to take some time. We are not expecting a sudden recovery in exports because we've had currency issues and economic issues in many of the export markets. And as these settle down, I think most of the Indian companies have done a phenomenal job over last few years. And as the new products are also introduced into the markets, all of these factors will lead to a recovery. So every quarter, we are seeing an improvement in volume trends. And I expect that to continue through the next year. And we will probably start seeing growth by the time we reach the end of this year. So that is pretty much in line with expectations. I don't see that as a matter of concern, even if exports are down slightly. At the same time, I think the domestic numbers are probably better than expectations. There is some channel buildup happening at this point of time for the festive season. And as you know, we do expect the festive season to be good this year, both for two-wheelers and four-wheelers. I think the key reason is, particularly in case of four-wheelers, is there was not enough inventory available for last 2 years, particularly of the models which are in demand. And this year we are seeing better inventory. So that is definitely positive.
Okay, Kapil, exactly on that, before we wind up, give us your sense on four-wheelers. Like you're saying, I think this trend of the premium end doing really well, that is well documented, and it's cutting across sectors, whether you're looking at hotels or retail or autos. Now the question is how to play it. Should you stick with an M&M, which has been rock steady with its SUV portfolio? Should you look at Maruti, because incrementally it's all about the Jimny and the Fronx and all these new sort of crossover cars that they're launching in the market? Or should you go back to Tata Motors, which is then a far more complicated piece? You're not just, playing EV or the Nexon anymore over there. That's a much bigger global portfolio. So out of these three stocks, where the four-wheeler play comes in, what would be your preferred picks for the next, say, 12 months?
Our preferred picks are M&M and Tata Motors. And the reason is, as you rightly said, one is the mix shift towards SUVs and a higher growth. Of course, for Tata Motors, there is a play on JLR involved here as well, where company is looking to move towards more premium end of the portfolio as they move forward. So those are our preferred picks for that reason. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Kapil, we'll leave it on that note. Thank you very much for joining in today with a view on auto sales. Okay.